Welcome to Positively on the Spectrum, our podcast where we put a positive spin on life on the spectrum.
Mm.
Finding your village and navigating neurodiversity. We aren't experts, but we're in it
We are. So it's been a wee while.
together.
We've had a bit of a break, I guess you would say. Just life in general.
I wish it was a break.
Yeah, true. No, just life in general. We've had loads going on with our youngest starting school as well. Getting ready to start school, and yeah, it's been a lot.
I'm not going to lie. The last podcast that we put out, we were like, everything's going great. It's not always like this, and boom,
Yeah,
from that week, I think it's just been a really hard time for us as a family.
it's been quite the roller coaster.
It has. And that's what we were meaning by, like, at that time when we filmed that and everything was going great, and then I've had the flip side of it. So it's
Yeah.
almost not a reality check, but it's almost like it's good to know that I've had that and I can have that again.
Yeah.
But I needed to know that I could have that because it's been very, very hard and very stressful. Um, just just around my youngest child and his needs and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's hard because we do, as we know, we put loads of faith and trust into the people around our children. And sometimes when incidences happen and that trust is gone, it's really, really hard to get it back. And you've got to make decisions. You don't know if you're making the right decisions or the wrong decisions, and it's tough. But
It really is. You
yeah,
don't really get it until you're in it.
Yeah,
And then when you do, like, solve or think you've solved your problem, I feel like that's when it
hits you.
hits
Oh,
you.
absolutely, absolutely. We had sort of similar incidents that I had talked about previously about having to make decisions whether to keep our oldest daughter safe or happy or whatever. Some of you might remember, and it was like you're just so focused on solving the issue and keeping everybody happy and safe, and then when it stops, you tend to everything kind of falls apart.
Yeah.
But you've got to let it happen.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to, because if you just try and push it away or push it down, it's gonna manifest itself and come out in other ways. It can sometimes come out physically. You can become physically ill, not just mentally. And you just got to be kind to yourself and just work through it, I think, as well.
Yeah. And it's difficult when you're in it, and some people are living it constantly.
Yeah.
We're lucky enough that we've only had peaks and troughs of it, like certain times we've had to deal with it, but there's people out there that are living with it every day. So yes, it's been a whirlwind of a couple of years.
One positive is that we've had some really lovely weather.
I know.
Really lovely weather, so the kids have been able to get out in the garden, and that's always really good for them as well, especially our non-verbal little ones, well, little and large ones, because it's so good for all the different senses. And we've actually touched on a few things on our TikTok, haven't we?
Yeah.
Different things about proprioception and
massive for him.
sensory input and things like that. Like, there is no denying it in our family that it helps keep a very calm and harmonious household, having that option and the outlet. And yeah, definitely sort of makes for sleepy heads at night time, which obviously makes me happy, makes everyone
Yeah, it certainly does.
Yeah, it sure does. But yeah, and we're sort of looking forward to the summer holidays.
Yes, we're taking a positive mindset here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. And it'll not be positive the whole 6, 7, 8 weeks, whatever it is they're off. It'll not be, but we'll just start as a mean again.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's when we'll rely on each other. So when you're having a shit week, I'll be like, Heather,
yes,
it's all right. And then when it's me, you'll be like, listen, look at me last week. This week will be fine. And again, finding your village.
Yeah, absolutely.
Finding your village.
And it doesn't have to be. I think sometimes people think you've got to give so much to find that village and be in that village, but you absolutely don't. Sometimes it's just a wee text I got a message yesterday from somebody I hadn't spoken to in ages, and I just thought to myself, oh my gosh, it's so nice to hear from you. And again, I would consider her to be part of my village, and it just made me realize that I hadn't reached out in a while, and I'm glad she did to me. And now I'm conscious that I think, right, well, I'll check in again because it's something she wanted to talk to me about and that kind of thing. And it's just, don't feel like, oh, I don't have time to be that for everybody, because it's not about that, is
No.
it? And it sort of, it comes in waves, like you've just said. Sometimes I'm massively there for you, sometimes you're massively there for me, sometimes it's just a little thing, sometimes we don't even need each other for a day or two.
Like it's a couple hours.
Yeah. But it makes a huge difference, and I just don't want people to think they don't have the time, because it's not about investing time in each
And
other.
people that are in the same position as you get it.
They do.
They don't
absolutely.
have the time either. So it's just nice to be able to have somebody to check in on and bounce your feelings off of and have a wee moan.
And don't ever feel like the other person's going to be like, ugh, because you said that to me the other day, you must be so sick of me. Like, never though. Like, I mean, if I was sick of you, I just wouldn't reply. But do you know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't. I would take that upon myself to go, right, I don't have the mental capacity right now. Give me half an hour. Give me till tomorrow. And I think you just get to understand that, because we are all in that same, like, we're in it together. Like we always say, like, it's not the same journey. Everybody's journey is so unique and so different. But we are all in it together, I think.
So what we're touching on this week, we're touching on diagnosis?
Yeah, I think so. So recently I came across a situation where somebody mentioned to my youngest daughter that they were also autistic, as in to say, you're autistic and so am I. Like, that's great. We have that in common, kind of thing. Which was totally fine. But it did make me think, oh, I've not had that conversation with her, mostly because she hasn't got a diagnosis as yet. We all think it's fairly obvious. The reason she hasn't got a diagnosis yet is just generally waitlist. All the professionals around her seem to be in agreement. It's not my first rodeo, so I'm seeing a lot of the signs that I've seen with my eldest, and it opened up that conversation at home as well. Like, me and her dad were like, we haven't actually really discussed it. We don't really use the term in the house that much, because the kids are just who they are. Like, they're not their diagnosis. However, it's also part of their identity. So it is something that we should be talking about. And because it's not something that we're ashamed of or would hide or anything, but we just haven't. It's like, I wouldn't say to them, do you know that your skin color is white?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I just wouldn't say that to them, because they are who they are. And I don't even say, do you realize you have brown hair? And in my opinion, it's no different, because it's part of their makeup and what makes them them. So off the back of that, I got a book, because my youngest loves to read. She reads herself, and she loves to read to me, and she loves that I read to her and Dad as well. In fact, I was out here the other night, wasn't I? And when I got home the next morning, the first thing she did was grass on her dad. Dad didn't read me a story. And Dad had just forgotten to take his glasses upstairs. By the time he went downstairs to get them and went back up, she was sound asleep. But she did. She grassed on him straight away. Poor dad, yeah. Didn't mention all the other things he'd done to have such a great night without mum and all that sort of stuff. But anyway, so we got this book. And I let her have a flick through before. Now, not every 4-year-old is going to be able to read a book, but she flicked through, and so I said to her, do you know what autism is? And she went, yes, it's something to do with your brain, like this. And I thought, well, yeah, you're right. It is, absolutely. And it was just a lovely experience. And we've read the book a couple of times. The book I got, I did a fair bit of research in too. And I made sure it wasn't a book based on a child that represented her, because I wanted her to see that anybody could have autism. So actually, the book is about a little boy, and it discusses things. It's actually a really good book, because it discusses the non-verbal side, the verbal side, the stimming. It sort of discusses everything in a very childlike way about, a happy dance or doing a nice drawing. And maybe I love trains and I'll talk about them all the time, and or maybe I can't always just talk to you, but my smile says that I love you, and things like that. It's a really, really beautiful book, and it's been quite an eye-opener for us, and it's just opened up that dialogue, which I think sometimes it's better to just open it and not think about it too much.
Embrace it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's almost like a connection thing as well, like being able to, like, if somebody does say it to you, you can be like, well, me too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, to try and not comfort them, but like to connect with them
Absolutely,
as well.
yeah.
And I know for me, I was a complete opposite. I held off. Eldest, I done a complete opposite. I left it as long as I could. And in hindsight, should have done it a lot sooner. But I was just, it was my first time experiencing it. And we had known she was diagnosed at 3. So I think she was about 6 when we told her, roughly. So by that point as well, it had kind of like, we never forgot about it obviously, but it just wasn't a thing. But if I was speaking to people who hadn't seen her for a while, and like when by this point obviously she was getting to like 6 and she was verbal, and they had known her when she was non-verbal, and I was always be standing there waiting on them saying, oh, you wouldn't know she was autistic, and I would be almost try to rush a conversation in case they did say it, and then I had this big plan. I spoke to school and I says to school, right, I'm going to discuss this with her, and I want you on board just in case she comes into school, she's a wee bit upset or she's dysregulated, you'll know why. And they were totally on board. They supported me. They said if you need any strategies or booklets or anything like that, let us know and we'll support you that way. And I done the same. I bought a book, and one night randomly we were sitting round the dinner table, and I can't even remember how the conversation went or started, and we told her, and she was just like, all right, okay. And that was it. And I just kind of went, I can't be it. Like, I can't be it. And obviously she processed it. And then she came to me and she's like, I feel like now I understand myself. And I just thought, wow.
Yeah.
I felt terrible. I looked as a day. I'm a pure like negative Nancy, and I just went down that rabbit hole of that poor child's been sitting there, and she's noticed that she's different from other people in her class or social environments, and she'd been taught strategies by like PSAs in school and stuff, and she was feeling overwhelmed of what to do. So she obviously knew that she needed that and didn't know why. And then when we told her, she got that clarity and understanding of herself, and we've never looked back.
Yeah. I think something to remember as well is that when you were in that position, there wasn't discussions on social media about autism. There wasn't neurodiverse topics in school or anything like that. So you were kind of in this limbo is probably not the right word, but it wasn't as open. It was kind of taboo a little bit. I mean, we're talking, how many years ago? 5? Yeah. A lot has changed in the past 5 years. I mean, even when I first started seeing signs with my oldest, it was still very not talked about so much, and it was more of a negative. It's like, if you're seeing these signs, oh my gosh, your child is autistic, that kind of thing. Whereas so much has changed. That, even just within school, it's a topic of conversation. There's people out there that are going on neurodiverse. I mean, us ourselves, how many courses have we done, and to try and get more information. So it's definitely more talked about. It's more out in the open. So you can almost understand why you thought it was more of a sensitive subject, because that's just the way things were then.
I just didn't know how she was going to respond, and I was scared that I was about to flip her whole world, and she was going to start like go the opposite way and like start doubting herself and questioning herself and all that. And she didn't. She took it the other way, and she was like, that's why I do that, and that's why I do that, and that makes sense now.
Do you think that you were worried it was going to flip her world because that's what it did to you?
Probably.
So we tend to do that.
It's the unknown.
Yeah.
It's a total unknown, because before, we're saying that was 5 years ago, but on the lead up to that, it would have been 8 years ago.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
That's right. Yeah.
So I didn't know what her future looked like. So I obviously had all that going on as well. And it was just me.
I think as well. I mean, do you think she would have had the understanding any earlier? I know
from her reaction, possibly maybe a year.
Right. Yeah.
Because like I feel like when she went to school, that was when she was just starting to become verbal, and I've touched on that in the past. Like, it was kind of like, will we send her, won't we send her type thing, because when your child's got limited communication, understanding where they're at, I feel like is difficult, and
absolutely.
I wouldn't have really known that at that point. But then obviously when she went to school, and that's when she was in school for like a year and a bit, and then I think it was primary 2 that I thought, right, now's the time to tell her. And we had actually, it was becoming more aware, because I remember like seeing things and people talking about it. I think there might have been another child in the school who'd spoken about it or something, and I remember thinking, oh, there's a chance. But I didn't feel prepared enough to then. I just basically made this whole song and dance about telling her, and I had this all prepped like a business meeting. Like, I just had. I was just being a mom. I was just protecting her, and I just wanted to have all my ducks in a row, and I wanted to be prepared for every question and have every answer. I didn't want to be like, oh, I don't know. And I get emotional now thinking about it, and I'm a very emotional person, and the last thing I wanted to do was put that on her. Was me to burst into tears, and then her be like, oh, is this something that I should be worried about? And is this a negative thing? And I needed to make sure that selfishly I was in the right frame of mind to deal with.
Well, I
think that's how when that chance came at night, I remember just me and my husband just looked at each other and we just went for it. I feel like we do that quite a lot with stuff. we plan, and then we just go, nah, let's just.
But I think planning and that process is all to do. It's like a self preparation as well, and self preservation in a lot of ways, because then you know that you're prepared, like you said. And if you needed to be, and you needed to answer those questions, you could. Whereas there's a lot of parents on the opposite side of things, and that is why diagnosis was something that became very important to me, because I met somebody a wonderful adult who is autistic, and I think she might be in her 30s now, and has only just received her diagnosis because it wasn't sought when she was younger, and she spent a lot of years struggling. And I don't think she would mind me saying that. She's got quite a big following on TikTok, and she talks about it a lot, so she wouldn't mind me saying that. But it did in my mind, because initially I had thought, well, I don't need to get a diagnosis for my oldest, because it was clear. And I thought, well, something on a bit of paper, she was already getting all of the support that she needed. She was in the right school setting, that kind of thing. I think I've touched on it before. But when I met this person, I thought, no, that it's not about what I think. It's her identity. It's part of her life. And to be honest, she is completely nonverbal and developmentally delayed, and I haven't even had the conversation with her, really, because it's not that I don't believe she would understand it, but I just wouldn't know if she did. So, and I would hate to think that I'm saying something to her and then she's not understanding it, and then she's worrying, but she can't say, well, Mum, what does that mean? So I think I 100% think you did the right thing, personally, and knowing you and knowing her and that kind of thing as well. I think you definitely did the right thing, because you know her best, and it could have gone either way, especially now if you look at different emotions as she's getting older. And
and that's the thing. Like, I do know my own child, but I did know that she was like me. She kind of cries a lot at anything. She's my wee empath like me, which is amazing. I would rather she was like that than let me have a face of stone, but I have a big heart underneath.
Absolutely, yeah.
But I remember, I know last time you touched on it as well, and it actually made me think, and especially when I was editing the last one, and you had said, when I had said about getting a diagnosis for my son, and you had said, but you've now got it in paper for when you're not about.
Yeah, well, there's that. Yeah,
like there's something there in stone that says that this is the support that he needs, and it's not just me having to go about and make sure that it's and that never really occurred to me. It's just something that I hadn't thought of. But anyway, we've ranted and raved on enough today, so we'll cut it at that. We could probably make about 3 podcasts out of this one.
Well, that'll tide us over
I know,
next few weeks of school, and then the summer holidays, and all that sort of stuff.
So it's probably going to be coming up to a really challenging time for everybody. Like, we know we're expecting it, with schools changing, days changing, times changing, things, classes stopping and all that. So like Heather usually says, if you need us, reach out. We are
Absolutely.
here to listen.
Yeah, DMs, comments are always checked. DMs are always open. Instagram, Positively on the Spectrum, TikTok as well, and the comments on YouTube. Everything comes through to us. So please reach out.
This is why we do this. We do this to try and raise awareness and help other parents who are in the same position as us, or have been in the same position as us and needed somebody to talk to. So,
and even advice, like we may not know the answer, but I've been doing this for a while, so chances are I know somebody who could give you the answer, or a way to find it. And if you or maybe not, maybe there is no answer.
You just need to talk about it. And we're here.
Yeah, absolutely. We don't bite.
I might look like a big baddie.
She definitely doesn't.
Well, we will catch up with you soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Look after yourselves.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.